guys, so this will be my video on Haikyuu Season 3 Episode 2. I will warn you, since I watched the episode where I uploaded that I watched the episode, I haven't actually rewatched it because I'm kind of pressed for time. And I do want to get, I am behind with like 4 videos and I do want to get them all done today, so yeah. But I have read the manga and I know what's gonna happen, so it shouldn't be a problem that I haven't rewatched it because I do remember what happened. But yeah, let's just get into it. First of all, we have a lot of match. We had a lot of them actually playing, unlike last week where of course we just saw the first like 1 or 2 minutes. Which is great. Like this entire series, or this entire season, is just the fight. It's not a fight. The match between Shira Torisawa and Karasuno, and this is what we all want to see. And not only do we get into the match and what the obstacles, or some of the obstacles that Karasuno will be facing is, but we also get a lot of characterization for the Shira Torisawa players. Yeah. Which is really great because it's kind of like, okay, the more you know and the more you love the other characters, the weirder it will feel to root for Karasuno, because that's ultimately what we all do. But I remember when I watched the first season when I hadn't read the manga, and I reached the not the Shira Torisawa, the Seijo match, I was like, because Oikawa, I love him to death, and just knowing the Seijo plays, like, I felt really weird, because when they won Seijo, I wasn't really that sad, and when Seijo lost in the second season, I was kind of sad. Like, yeah, I root for Karasuno, but Seijo just has such a special place in my heart that it's so weird when I see them win and lose, and then our main characters doing the opposite, because I'm just so conflicted. And I do think that at this point, because we haven't known Shira Torisawa for as long as we know Seijo, which is why the second match they play, which is like, what? But yeah, we haven't known them for long enough for a lot of people to be like, yeah, I'm just, I wouldn't be sad if Karasuno lost. I don't think we're there yet. Maybe at some point, because we get so much characterization later, and they can't just dump it all on us because we need to see the match, and we have 5 sets to see, so yeah. But let me just get into some of the characters that we see more of. First we see Ushiwaka, and I said in my live reactions, I don't know what to call it, that the anime is doing a great job of showing Ushiwaka more in like smaller scenes. So when we have Ukai or someone explaining what's going on, we just, instead of having him just talking, we see Ushiwaka kind of giving orders and giving directions to the players and his team, acting like a captain, where in the manga, I believe, we mostly saw the ace side of him. It was slightly turned down the captainness of him, which was kind of a shame, because you don't become the captain just because you're the ace. You become the captain because you have the ability to direct your team and to be able to like ultimately make a choice that could change the match. So you're like, okay, this probably won't work, I have to keep these people in line, I have to raise morale and stuff like that. So yeah, while the ace can do things like raise morale just by being good, the captain has the voice. So I thought that was really important to see. We also get some more technical stuff, so we get the fact that we have breaks whenever someone reaches 8 points and 16 points, technical timeouts, because this is a 5-set match, and players will probably, they'll tire out quickly, and because it's such a long match, you'll probably need to change strategies more often, because if not, this game, it'll get really repetitive, and it won't be interesting, and it kind of like, yeah, you need stuff like that, for multiple reasons. You can probably figure them out, like, yeah. So we also get the explanation of why Nishinoya and other players, of course, are having troubles with receiving Ushiwaka's balls, and basically we find out, yeah, he's a left-handed player. It was kind of hinted at in the last episode when Nishinoya called him a lefty, and basically, the reason that it's so hard to receive is because when you're left-handed, you put a different spin on the ball, because doing that and doing that is different. And because receiving is such a split-second thing, if just one teeny tiny thing is messed up, you're doing it wrong. And we know that, like, from episode 1 and episode 2 of this series, back in season 1, we know that receiving is very difficult as it is. Like, it's not something you can just do various players on the Karasuno team having troubles with receiving. Hinata's Tsukishima being very good examples of this because yeah, we've seen multiple times, especially with Hinata, he's having a lot of trouble when it comes to receiving balls because he's just not good at it. And yeah, he's a good player and he has all the natural abilities, but again, receiving is just such a hard task, which is why Nishinoya is so often labeled as a genius, because what he's doing is so unnatural for players of their age, and just, yeah, which is again why when he says, I can definitely do this, you just need to give me 3 spikes and I will be able to receive these balls. That's such a huge thing, because you can't, like, three times is so little, because not only is Ushiwaka left-handed, because I think it's Tanaka who says that, yeah, even back in middle school, receiving left-handed spikes were difficult, which means that obviously Ushiwaka is not the only volleyball player who's left-handed. Like, that's ridiculous. I think 1 in 10 people are left-handed, if not more. So it'd be really weird if they hadn't encountered people like that before. But on top of being left-handed, Ushiwaka is also technically a good volleyball player. Like, he's in the top 3 of all volleyball players in high school, and we know that in these sports anime and manga, the level is just uncanny. Like, what the hell? The level of sportness is just weird. And again, on top of that, he's just physically strong. Like, his spikes are ridiculously strong. And for Nishinoya to be, yeah, I can receive this in 3 spikes. That's ridiculous, because again, do you remember, I think it's season 1, their first match against Nekoma, and the only match I think we see against Nekoma, where their libero, he just touched one of Asahi's spikes, and Nishinoya was like, that libero is good because Asahi's spikes should not even be untouchable, or should not even be touchable the first time you see them. That should tell you something about how good Nishinoya is. If he can receive a spike from Ushiwaka, a player he probably hasn't played against before, yeah, in just 3 spikes, that's ridiculous. And yeah, he's a genius for that reason. Another character we get more into is a character I talked about in the last episode that I wasn't really a fan of in the manga, and he's slowly growing on me in the anime, thankfully, because I do want to like this character. And that's Tendo. We see little of his game style and a lot of his personality. He's very quirky, he's not afraid to speak his mind, he has, I will kind of not spoil it, but he has a relationship with Ushiwaka. That sounded really sexual, but that's not what I meant. He is closer to Ushiwaka than some other people might be, because Ushiwaka is just not a person who, he's not like the most social kind of guy, but Tendo is, so he'll find a way to get through to anyone. And their dynamics are just really fun, because they're so, like, polar opposites, and I find that hilarious. And on top of that, his character design is just funny, because he's so expressive and he's just really tall and lanky and just like, ooh, all over the place. I've seen a lot of gifs on Tumblr at this point with him just dancing all over the place, and it's really funny. But yeah, we get to see more of him, and hopefully you like him. I can still see why he's an unlikable character, because again, I'm still on the more of the dislike side than I'm on the like side, but I'm slowly getting there. But yeah, I think he's really funny, and next episode from the title, we'll get to see a lot of him, because the next episode is called Gas Monster, and I'm pretty sure that's actually his nickname. And you'll get to see why. If you haven't already figured it out, because I think he just blocked, I think it was Hinata's spike, and then we kind of saw that white background with him, Kageyama, and Hinata just staring at each other, and then kind of the episode ending. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that, because I don't want to actually spoil anything. We see a few, like, small things from the other. So we have Goshiki making a spike, and some other things. I think I'm really interested to seeing more of their setter, because I feel, for me, he's one of the really super interesting characters, so I really want to see more of him. And well, oh yeah, I promised that I wanted to talk about Tsukishima and Nishinoya, because Tsukishima, if you haven't already figured it out or listened to what I'm saying, Tsukishima's my favorite character, and that means that, of course, when he's on screen I fangirl a lot, and I also notice a lot of things about him. And as I also said in my live reaction, Nishinoya is kind of a close second, because sometimes I wonder why Nishinoya is my favorite character, and then Tsukishima's there and he's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Nishinoya is a close second with Oikawa and other characters. I love them all a lot, can you tell? But basically, what I want to talk about is not the fact that Tsukishima has a lot of screen time. If we see him thinking a lot, because you can probably figure out that that's going to be really important, that he's kind of trying to make up for the fact that he's been kind of dispassionate, or is dispassionate actually a word? You know what I mean, hopefully, about volleyball for such a long time. And as his brother says, I don't think, is it this episode or it must have been this episode, he says that yeah, Tsukishima might not be like a volleyball genius, but at the very least, the only thing he trusts is not in intuition or anything like that, it's just like what he sees. And that makes Tsukishima a really good player because he becomes really good when it comes to things like the read block, which is what that Tendo uses. So you block, you go to block after you've seen where the toss goes. You just don't just like jump around and then get fooled by decoys, which is kind of like what Karasuno's game is with Hinata, like fooling people with Hinata being the decoy. But yeah, what I want to point your direction to is is the fact that whenever Tsukishima seems to be kind of giving up, he looks at Nishinoya, who is the most determined person ever. And because, I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of time in the background again, I said, was it in the last episode, I said if you look at the background, especially in season 2, you'll see that Hinata and Yamaguchi are really bonding like in the background and they're having fun together, whatever. Like they're being friends, unlike someone like Kageyama and Tsukishima. No, I said this in the manga review. Now you know. But if you look in the background at Tsukishima and Nishinoya, they also have like some weird thing going on. And I think that Tsukishima, of all the people on Karasuno, he probably looks up to Nishinoya the most because he's such a charismatic guy, and now that Tsukishima is kind of accepting this volleyball side of him that he had when he was a child, then lost when he found out his brother was lying to him, and now has again, kind of, you'll see at some point there'll be a really great scene with him. But yeah, I think Nishinoya is really what's keeping him going from that, because he says that, why are we trying so hard? We just like wasting our stamina because this set is already lost. So if we just like let Shiro Torizawa do what they do, then we just lose, and then we can use our energy in the next sets and then win those. He looks at Nishinoya and he kind of, I don't think he says, but he takes that statement back, like it's in his eyes. And I think like, because everything about them is so different, there are a lot of funny parallels with Nishinoya and Asahi kind of being foils, in the way that you have Nishinoya, who's a really strong character. He is by no means a coward, always speaks his mind, and is not afraid to call anything out, where you have Asahi, kind of a weak-minded character, kind of a coward sometimes. I think he's kind of growing over that though, growing out of that, and he's kind of afraid to speak his mind, always puts other people in front of himself and doesn't really talk about like his needs until people push him. A great example is when, I think it must have been last season or 2 seasons ago, I don't remember, where Kageyama's like, do you want me to change how I set the ball? And Kageyama had to really push Asahi into saying that, yeah, maybe you could set the ball a little higher, which is incidentally where Asahi spikes the best from, which should have been something he should have said from the very beginning, because he's the ace, and if Kageyama can't give him the tosses that he needs to bring out his full power, it's kind of a shitty play. So yeah, we have those foils. Also, we have the funny foils with their names being different. I think the characters for them, one is Valley and one is Mountain, and their birthdays are also reversed. So Nishinoya's birthday is the 10th of October, while Asahi's is the 1st of January, so it's 01011010. So I think there are a lot of fun parallels with them. Of course, there's all the height thing, and it's really funny. But I think for Nishinoya and and Tsukishima, it's kind of different because it's more like their views on volleyball and their, I kind of want to use the word ideology, but it's just in their attitude towards things, because we have Nishinoya, who's very passionate, who's very loud, who's very charismatic, and then we have Tsukishima, the more silent, not as passionate kind of dude. And I think those parallels are really fun because they lean on each other a lot, especially Tsukishima and Nishinoya. But Nishinoya, you need to think of the fact like if you have they're both kind of defense players, because they both try to make it so that when the other team spikes, they don't get a point Tsukishima blocks, and if Tsukishima can't block it, then Nishinoya has to receive it. So they need to work together a lot, and they're observing each other a lot. I'm just gonna give that away now. Yeah, but ultimately I think you should keep in mind that Tsukishima and Nishinoya have a really fun relationship when you like ignore the fact that they don't talk a lot and get a lot of screen time, like in the front of the camera. Like it's always in the background when something else is happening that you should probably pay a little more attention to. But upon rewatching these series, you get a lot of these background things, which I really appreciate Haikyuu for. Overall, this episode was great. Like, we had a lot of characterization for Shiro Torisawa. The episode just looked great. I don't think I've talked about that, but it looked really great. Haikyuu seems to always do. And yeah, ultimately it was just an enjoyable episode, and I'm just gonna stop the video here. So if you liked anything that I had to say, you can leave a thumbs up, leave in the comments below what you thought of this week's episode, and if you're excited to see more, of course you are, hopefully. And yeah, you can subscribe if you want to see more of me. I also do reviews of One Piece, Haikyuu the manga, Shokugeki no Soma, Boku no Hero Academia, and I do weekly videos on One Piece the anime, which I'm wearing style with this one. So yeah, if you're interested in those, you can subscribe, and until next time, bye!